So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Chapter 1. A blonde-haired boy of 16 could be seen in front of an army of white beings with plant-like features and large glowing white eyes. Behind these white plant zombies was a huge beast with 10 large swaying tails. Standing on this beast was a man known as Uchiha Madara, beside him the man behind the entire war. This boy had long flowing blonde hair that had a single bang falling gently over his face. His eyes were electric blue but seemed to spin into either a deep red or a royal purple. His face was lean and angular, yet held this captivating look. On each side of his face sat 3 whisker marks. The boy had red long-sleeved shirt that was open at the torso, the Uzumaki swirl on the collar. He had on black pants with a black cloth hanging from halfway up his stomach to his knees, along with red arm guards that covered his forearms and stretched up to reach his upper biceps. Around his waist was a white rope belt tied into a bow. In his right hand was a sword that looked like it had been made of many shark scales, the hilt of said sword even had a mouth. In his left hand was a long sword looking much like a needle, hell it even had thread at the end. On this boy's forehead was a headband with a black cloth. The metal had a very strange symbol carved into it. It looked a perfect fusion of the sun and a crescent moon. This boy is Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, former Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune, and last soldier of the allied shinobi forces. All others had either fallen or were too injured to help him fight. Even his brother Uchiha Sasuke had fell to the power of the Kyuubi. So now it was up to him to not only free the tailed beast, but to defeat Obito and Madara. He cracking his neck said, "This ends now. I will no longer tolerate any bloodshed. No more of my comrades and friends will fall today. I'll end this stupid war with my own 2 hands and the blood flowing through my veins." Naruto then shot forward, throwing the Nabari. He watched the needle-like sword pierce through the countless white zetsu. He appearing on the other side, pushed some lightning chakra into the blade, frying the white zetsu with ease. He swinging the Samehada bisected a good number of zetsu. He then pulling the needle sword back, dashed towards Obito. Obito not considering Naruto a threat stood there calmly. This would prove to be a fatal mistake. As Naruto shoved Samehada in his chest and lifted up, literally splitting Obito in half vertically. Naruto turning to the shocked Madara, tossed both of his swords into the air and went through hand signs that allied shinobi forces were familiar with. He finishing them cried out Shiki Fun. Madara gaining wide eyes spotting the Shinigami appear Naruto with a very hungry look on its face. Naruto not even saying a word, watched as the Shinigami reached through his soul and grabbed both the Kyuubi and Madara's soul. The Shinigami dragging its hands back through Naruto, licked its lips at first, but then said, "You have done well, young one. You have truly brought everlasting peace to these lands, but I'm afraid your work is far from done. It seems as your mother's dimension needs your help now. Do not worry about the Zetsu army, as they would be taken care of by the allied shinobi forces. Goodbye Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto with his eyes closed vanished in a swirl of darkness, never hearing the loud scream of his name. Naruto opening his eyes blinked finding himself sitting in a classroom listening to some man talk about gods he didn't know about. He looking around scowled spotting all of the 12-year-olds around him. This was not boding well for him. He lifting his hand up asked, "May I use the restroom?" The teacher turning to him blushed slightly and said, "Why yes you may Mr. Namikaze." He getting out of his chair, walked to the bathroom. Once inside of it, he scowled spotting his 12-year-old self staring at himself in the mirror. There were a few differences from the old 12-year-old him. For one his eyes were royal purple and 3 rings could be seen surrounding a single round pupil. His hair was less spiky and seemed to curl around his face. Also he was a battler hardened warrior who has seen his fair share of death and war. He then blinked hearing very familiar laughter in his head. He without thinking said in his head, "Stop laughing Kurama before I turn you into your kid form." The laughter from the great fox instantly stopped but 11 more laughs soon filled his mind. He blinked at this and asked Kurama, "Why are there 11 more voices in my head?" Kurama grumbling said, "Brat you sealed the Kyuubi inside of yourself along with Madara. You tell me why there are 11 more voices in my head." Naruto face palming said, "Oh great, first I'm turned into a bloody 12-year-old and then I get 11 new voices in my head, as if Kurama wasn't enough of a headache as it is." Kurama snorting said, "Yeah well you're no walk in the park either brat." Naruto with a twitching eyebrow said, "Keep talking trash fox and I'll turn you into a plushie." Kurama hearing this wisely shut his mouth. Naruto sighing walked outside of the bathroom, noticing the many blushes he made appear on the females' faces as he walked by. He decided to ignore this in favor of getting back to class. It would be a few months later when Naruto would be once again in a boring class when he heard Madara say, "Kid someone's trying to mess with your mind. I sense a powerful illusion trying to take over you." Naruto hearing this simply pushed a small amount of his chakra through his body, dispelling any illusions around him. His eyes then looking at his new teacher, widened spotting what looked like a shriveled up old woman with leathery skin and glowing eyes. This made him sit up straight in his seat and think, what in Jubi's name is that? He blinked when said Biju said in a motherly voice, Naru-chan, what have I told you about invoking my name like it's some kind of curse? Naruto with a twitching eyebrow thought, can we do this later? Kinda creeped out by whatever the hell that thing is. Jubi huffing said fine, but prepare for the longest lecture in history, as for what that thing is, well my guess is that it's a fury, one of Hades' torturers. Naruto hearing this blinked and asked, so all of that stuff Mr. Brunner was talking about is true? Kurama snickering said, sure is brat, now shut up and pay attention, the old hag is about to call on you. Sure enough, Mrs. Dodds turning to him asked, Mr. Namikaze, what is 40 times 120? Naruto considering turning Kurama into a fox plushie said 800. Mrs. Dodds blinking said correct. She then went back to teaching, silently fuming that she couldn't catch Naruto not paying attention. Naruto going back to leaning on his hand rolled his eyes when Matatabi said, it looks like someone's teacher has it bad for him. Naruto then mentally hissed, shut it Matatabi before I make you and Shukaku mate. He smirked hearing two whimpers. It would be a few days later when Naruto would be listening to his MP3 player while on his way to a museum with his class, sitting beside the girl who had the biggest crush on him, ignoring the fact that she was tossing peanut butter sandwiches at Grover Underwood. It's not that Naruto wasn't friends with the boy, it's just that the boy needed to stand up for himself without he or that idiot Percy Jackson jumping in. Naruto may have been friends with Grover, but he couldn't stand Percy. When they finally arrived at the museum, Mr. Brunner led the group through the Hall of History. Naruto, spotting something that made his eyes widen, moved away from the group. It was a statue in the Japanese section of the museum. It was a bloody statue of him with both of his lost swords in either hand, staring down Jubi. Hell, it even had his clothes right, and the hidden stash of candy he hid in the top part of his shirt was there. Naruto touching the statue blinked when he heard Mr. Brunner say, ah, the statue of the hero. He turning his head watched as Brunner rolled in with a smile on his face. Naruto looking at the man asked the hero. Brunner nodding with a faint smile on his face said, this statue is dedicated to the hero of the world. It is said he was born of two powerful warriors and cursed on that same night with the heavy burden of a demon. It also said that he carried this burden, even becoming friends with it, all the way to his final battle. The beast depicted in the statue is supposed to be the fused version of his demon, along with 8 others. It is said he battled the great beast for 9 days and 9 nights. Until finally with one last mighty swing he forced the beast inside of his sword. Samahata, I believe its name is. Both of his swords were lost in time, but it's rumored that Samahata lies at the bottom of the ocean near the prison of the legendary Kraken. The Nabari is said to have been used by Hera to stitch up her many dresses. His headband is said to be carried around by Artemis as a form of honoring one of the few men she'll ever respect. His clothes though were truly lost in time and none have ever seen them again. Mr. Brunner then rolled himself back out of the room, missing the gobsmacked look on Naruto's face. He shaking his head pinched the bridge of his nose and said, oh bloody hell. How in the hell did I become a legend over here when all of this happened in a different dimension? Madara snorting said, it does not matter. What does is that the mortals worship you and your heroic deeds have forever been immortalized. Naruto sighing walked outside, blinking spotting what looked like a blonde-haired lady eating lunch with the class and the idiot having the most confused look on his face. He shrugging walked over to Nancy, who instantly started to swoon over him. A few more months later and Naruto was packing his things as it was time for summer break. He had it all planned out, he was going to explore a little, train his skills up, practice his new Bijuu powers, maybe slay a few monsters. Then go find Samahata as he really missed his swords. Nabari would have to wait for a bit longer until he met the gods or something like that. He walking outside of the school, spotting Grover nervously talking to Percy, walked over to Grover and said, alright Grover my man. I'm going to be heading out. Got things to do, places to be, deeds to conquer. You know the usual. Grover with a smile on his face turned to Naruto and shook the boy's hand and said, alright Naruto, stay safe and if you even need some help just go the address on the card. Naruto smiling said, will do man. He then turning to Percy gained an impassive face and said, idiot do try and stay safe this summer. Percy hearing this was very tempted to give Naruto the bird but decided to walk away instead. Naruto seeing this, decided to hail a taxi. Getting in it, he said, 102 East Broadway Street please. The cabbie nodding took Naruto to his apartment. Paying the man, Naruto walked inside of his home and instantly was on guard. The reason why, because of the large chakra signatures in his home. He opening his door, narrowed his eyes, spotting the many females ransacking his home. His eyes narrowing even more, was about to unleash his killing intent when Grover came running into his home looking like he'd seen a ghost. Naruto ignoring the women turned to look at Grover who was finally revealing his true form. Naruto sensing the fear rolling off of the sadder side and said, let me guess the idiot did something stupid and now you're here to get me help track him down. Grover out of breath said yes by the gods he saw the fates cutting his string. Do you know what this means? Naruto, running a hand through his hair, said, yes, this means that the next time I see the Shinigami I'm ramming a full-powered Rasen Shuriken down his throat. Grover blinked hearing this. Naruto, ignoring this, opened his eyes to reveal his now slitted pupils and blood-red eyes. Naruto, sniffing the air, one said, the idiot and some lady smelling like candy are near the ocean about 16 miles to the east. For some reason I also smell bull and metal. Naruto's eyes widened as he said, oh dear sweet Raymond. The Minotaur is following the idiot. Grover, hearing this, felt his skin actually pale. Naruto then started to curse like a sailor as he said, I have to save the idiot without Samahata-Heim or Nabari-chan. Damn. He then, marching past the women, opened his closet and searched through the many different clothes he found. Finding what he was looking for, he shut the closet doors. Grover, somehow just now noticing the women, started to swoon. Just then the door to the closet opened and out stepped Naruto in his shinobi attire. Without his headband, of course. He, checking his pouch, nodded, counting all of his regular kunai, Hirishin kunai, shuriken and other throwing weapons. He then, reaching into his candy pouch, pulled out a cherry lollipop and put it in his mouth. He, with serious eyes, said, come on Goatman, I got a bull to kill and you've got an idiot to rescue. He, turning to the stunned women, narrowed his eyes and growled out, I'll deal with you after I get back. He then, walking over to Grover, said, Hirishin no jutsu. He was then gone in a flash of red light. Appearing at the cabin Percy and his mom were staying, Naruto laughed when Grover ran to the nearest bush and puked his guts out. Naruto then, looking upside, spotting and feeling the huge storm raging around him. Grover, gaining his senses back, knocked on the door loudly. Naruto, turning around, started to search for the big bad bull, but the rain was messing with his sense of smell. He was then grabbed by Grover and put in the car along with the idiot and his kinda cute mom. He, ignoring the conversation in the car, was focused on the bull now following the car. The bull then attacked the car, making it crash inside of a ditch. Getting out of the car, he heard the idiot's mom direct them to the tree at the top of the hill. Naruto, never being one to back down from a fight, said, "Oi, you stupid son of a cow. I'm going to turn you into a triple cheeseburger and use your horns as toothpicks." The Minotaur, hearing this, roared and charged directly at him. Naruto, with a smirk on his face, cocked his fist back and ran towards the bull-man hybrid. He, jumping slightly in the air, charged earth chakra to his fist and said, "Superman punch." That punch knocked the bull back and Naruto was shaking his fine, cursing as he hadn't applied enough earth chakra to his fist. He then, hearing an angry roar, looked up, spotting the Minotaur with murder clear in its eyes. Naruto, seeing this, said, "What's the matter, dinner? Did I tenderize you too early?" The Minotaur, rushing towards Naruto, was once again hit with another Superman punch, this one with more even earth chakra laced into it. Naruto, deciding to end this, punched the ground hard, causing a mini shock wave to come from around him. He, holding his right fist up, took off running. Pushing a little wind chakra out of his feet, he was literally in the air. He cried out, "Eat this, you triple cheeseburger in the making." Explosion, release, Superman punch. The punch landed and the land was rocked by a loud explosion. When the smoke cleared, Naruto could be seen holding a pair of horns with a heavy scowl on his face. He, looking up at Grover, said, "You owe me one, goat boy." He then fell forward. His face colliding with soft earth. Grover, Percy and Sally right behind him. Chiron, shaking his head, picked up Grover, Percy and Sally to take to the camp. He ordered someone to grab Naruto and bring him to the camp. Chapter 2. The next day Naruto would wake up and instantly sit up. He, rubbing the sleep out of his eyes, blinked, not spotting his room. Turning, he groaned, spotting a girl with blonde hair and grey eyes looking over the idiot and goat boy. Getting out of the bed, he stretched his body out before walking out of the room, ignoring the cries of wait from the blonde-haired girl. He, walking around the camp, scowled, spotting all of the cabins. He then, spotting a group of rather not cute-looking girls heading his way, narrowed his eyes. The girls reaching him had arrogant smirks on their faces as the tallest one said, "You're one of the new kids that arrived. It's time for your initiation." Naruto, sighing, said, "Be gone, pest, I don't have time for your foolish games, and if you try me, I will make you regret it." The girls, hearing this, scowled and decided to teach him a lesson. That was a very bad idea, as Naruto grabbed the hands of the first girl and crushed them. He then, kicking the another girl in her stomach, made her fall to her knees, curl up and pass out. The last girl, he simply flicked her with his finger, knocking her out. Naruto then walked away, not even noticing at how everyone was staring at him with wide eyes. Naruto, finding a forest, would enter it and sit down in a clearing. Closing his eyes, he started to meditate, unknowingly entering sage mode. He may not have known it, but every natural being did. Animals started to surround him, some fox kits even sitting in his lap. Wood nymphs and dryads were dancing around him. Some satyrs were now bowing lowly to him, even though he wasn't looking. The children of Demeter were swooning over him. Chiron himself walked into the clearing and was amazed at how nature was flowing through and around Naruto with such ease. As if he belonged to it. That's when he finally caught the scent of a demigod coming off of Naruto, proving him wrong that Naruto was a monster with a conscience. For some reason though, Naruto also had the smell of a very powerful monster coming off of him. Naruto opening his right eye blinked spotting all of the things around him. The eye was about to harden when he looked down to find some fox kits yipping happily at him. Smiling he opened both of his eyes and picked up one of the kits. Nuzzling it to his face he didn't pay any attention when every female gained hearts in their eyes. He ending his nuzzling slowly exited his sage mode, shooing the kits away, back to their mothers. He then turning to Brenner said, "Alright Chiron, I'm gonna make a guess that the gods and all of that are true and that this camp is a safe haven for demigods. The idiot is a demigod and the reason why Grover was at Yancey, along why you transferred and right around the middle of the year." Chiron blinking said correct, but how did you know? Naruto snorting said, "Illusions don't work on me and your mist is nothing compared to the mighty eyes of an Ichiha." Chiron hearing this nodded and asked, "Will you stay in the camp?" Naruto yawning said, "I'll stay here until Friday, then I'm back on the move." Chiron nodding said alright then once Percy wakes up all will be explained. Naruto standing up said sure you do that, until then I'm gonna be working on some things. He then standing up ran to the nearest water source planning on transforming into a Sobu to get used to the water as he was going to get Samahata-chan back, one way or another. Without her Inabari he kinda felt naked, his headband he could wait until he meets Artemis as he had no doubt in his mind that she was going to meet him one day. 2 days later and Naruto was once again meditating, except this time he was doing so on the middle of the lake, drawing upon the natural energy in the water and tapping into the demonic chakra of Isobu. He knew this was churning the water underneath him and was making some demonic things appear. He hearing someone call his name opened his right eye and blinked spotting Annabeth Chase, giving him a sort of powerful glare. Dropping his demi-sage mode, he walked to the shore and asked, "How may I help you Annabeth-chan?" Annabeth resting her hands on her hip said, "You never answered my question." Naruto blinking said, "I'm sorry I was distracted by your outstanding beauty and didn't even hear your question. Please do me a favor and remind me of it." Annabeth blushing said, "I asked you if you wanted to be on my team for the capture the flag came tomorrow." Naruto hearing this asked depends is idiot working with you? Annabeth blinking said yes Percy is going to be on my team. Naruto said, "Then no, because I don't work with idiots and every time I see him Kurama screams at me to let him eat the idiot." He turning around was about to walk back to the middle of the lake when Annabeth grabbed his hand and turned him around. He looking in her eyes blinked when she said, "You won't be working with him, you'll be working with me." Naruto blinking was about to deny her plea when she did the cursed puppy eye jutsu. This made his eyebrows start twitching as he and all the other voices in his head thought, who in the hell invented that cursed jutsu? Naruto sighing said fine, but you owe me big time for this. Annabeth smiling said good. He walking back to the middle of the lake mumbled, "Why do I get the feeling I'm gonna regret this?" He ignoring the giggling of the voices in his head, sat down on the water and started his exercise again, ignoring the giggling water sprite swimming around him as he turned the lake into a whirlpool. The day was the day, tonight the capture the flag game happened and honestly Naruto was ready to get it over with so he can start his world tour. He already planned on starting with Florida, from there he would follow his instincts. He ignoring the armor being placed in front of him said, "Keep the armor, I'm a trained warrior with no need for heavy clunky armor. Besides if I wanted to I could create my own armor." He groaned when Annabeth said, "Stop complaining Naruto and just put the armor on." He closing his eyes said Susanoo. Everyone gasped or stepped back when solid blue armor appeared on Naruto. An Oni mask even appeared on the right side of his face. He looking at the shocked Annabeth said, "Like I said I don't need that armor. I have my own armor. Now if you excuse me I'm going to return to my thoughts until the game begins." He then spacing out missed the jealousy in Luke's eyes, the amazement in the eyes of the forger's cabin. Annabeth on the other hand was staring at Naruto with nothing but wonder. Finally it was time for the game and Naruto could be seen standing beside Annabeth who said alright Naruto. Since you're the most talented out of all of us. I want you to capture the flag. Try to do so without terribly injuring too many people. Naruto yawning said, "Yeah whatever let's just get this over with already." Annabeth had to resist the urge to not groan at Naruto's bored response. The horn then blew announcing the beginning of the game. Naruto seeing this, decided to fly, so tapping into Chime's chakra he grew thick wings and fluttered into the sky. He going through hand signs called out, creation of all things, Kikai beetles, death butterflies, centipedes, giant millipedes, black wasp, hellfire moths. A huge poof of smoke occurred and when it cleared everyone had wide eyes spotting all of the different insects around him. Naruto then said alright it's show time. The insects spread out from their location and pretty soon people could be seen falling to their faces, being floated away by the butterflies, buried up to their necks by the centipedes, running from the millipedes, being stung by the wasp or rolling around on the ground trying to put out blue flames. Naruto floating over to Ares' side, spotting the flag unguarded, swooped down at Mach speed and snatched the flag. He flying over to the Athena side rolled his eyes spotting Percy panting after getting his butt kicked by Claris and her sisters. He spotting Annabeth staring at him with amazement and a small blush on her face. He wondering why, suddenly remembered that he had taken his top off completely to grow his wings, learning from Sasuke how hard it was to stitch it back together. His entire upper body was visible, and probably his tattooed right arm. This was the arm where all of his war tattoos were. He dropping to the ground, stabbed the flag into the ground, and the victory horn blew. Naruto standing up instantly scowled, smelling something that he wasn't supposed to be. His eyes moving to the idiot, moved his eyes slightly up and rolled his eyes. Everyone also following his eyes, gasped. Above Percy's head was an aquamarine trident symbol. Naruto heard Annabeth say, "Oh by the gods." Someone then bowed and said, "All hail Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon, god of the seas and earthquakes." Everyone beside Naruto then bowed. Annabeth giving him a pointed look asked, "Why aren't you bowing?" Naruto scoffing said, "Because even if the god of seas is his daddy, he's still an idiot of the highest degree, and I don't give a satyr's furry ass if his dad's one of the big three. Water boy here couldn't last 5 seconds in my world. Hell none of you could, not even Chiron the mighty trainer of heroes." Naruto's eyes moving to the hellhound that everyone was too distracted to see tossed a kunai and said, "Case in point." The kunai hitting right beside the hound made everyone blink, even the hound. Just then Annabeth got a good look at the kunai, she felt her eyes nearly pop spotting the 3 blades and the special seal carved into it. She turning to Naruto gasped when Naruto vanished in a flash of red light. Naruto appearing in front of the hellhound with a screeching ball in his hand said, "Bad dog. Wine style, Rasengan." The Rasengan slamming into the dog made the dog lift into the air, howling in pain. Naruto seeing this, picked up the Hirishin kunai and tossed it into the air. Clapping his hands together he said, "Kunai Shadow Clone Jutsu." The one kunai then turned into 100 kunai. Naruto activating a black Chidori in one hand and a red Rakiri in the other hand said, "It's over." Uzumaki's secret technique, Cradle of the Flying Lightning God Jutsu. He then flashed away in a burst of red light, lightning trailing behind him. Naruto speeding around the kunai, linked chakra threads from the Chidori and the Rakiri through the handles of said kunai, literally creating a cradle the hellhound was trapped in. He jumping back, let the cradle land, and crossed his arms as the hellhound was surrounded on all sides by black and red lightning. Naruto smirking lifted his right hand to the sky and said, "This one's for you Sasuke team." He closing his eyes and pushing some of Kurama's chakra into the air said, "Obliterate all within my path." Kuro Kirin. The massive roar was heard, and people swore that they heard the hellhound whimper in fear. Annabeth moving her head upwards, felt her jaw touch the ground as coiling high above was a dragon as black as the night, with baleful yellow eyes. It was huge, I mean it could literally take up about 16 apartment blocks with ease. It roaring again launched itself down on the hellhound. Naruto appearing before Annabeth wrapped his arms around her and whispered, "Close your eyes, this is going to be bright." Annabeth shutting her eyes tight, sunk into Naruto's embrace, just as Kirin hit and shook the entire camp, hell even the lake shook a little. Naruto then said, "Alright, you can open your eyes now." Annabeth and the others doing as he said, gasped spotting a black hole the size of a small house where the hellhound had been, along with a wall of glass. Annabeth looking at Naruto who was staring at the spot like it was normal to do something like that. She then noticed something floating above Naruto's head, looked up and saw that it was a pink dove with some plant in its mouth. Everyone gasped seeing this, except Naruto who was wondering what the hell it meant. He then heard Chiron say, "Dear sweet Zeus, a child of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty and eternal youth, who likes to fight and smells like a monster." Naruto blinking said, "Oi you talking sack of glue, I don't smell like a monster, it's the freaking Biju, and probably that psycho Madara you smell." Chiron ignoring the insult blinked and asked Biju, as in the Great 10 Beasts said to each rival titan at full power, with the 10 supposedly being able to rival a primordial in power. Naruto giving the centaur a deadpan look said, "No, I'm talking about the Biju made of plush and beans you can purchase online." Chiron hearing this asked, "Naruto, this world of yours, it wouldn't happen to be the elemental nations would it?" Naruto sighing said, "That's it. That's my home, the place I was born, the place I grew up in, the world I was trained to be a warrior in, the place I was supposed to die in, but the stupid Shinigami decided to send me here, and so help me Kami, the next time I see that bastard of a death god, I'm gonna see if it's possible to kill the god of death." He then started to grumble in anger, never noticing the wide eyes of everyone around him or how Chiron was stuttering about having the hero in his camp. Naruto ending his grumbling yawned and said, "I'm bored now, it's time for me to catch some sleep. See ya people later." He then teleported away in a flash of red light. The next morning Naruto was walking towards the border, getting ready to leave on his tour when he felt Annabeth running towards him. Turning around he sighed, spotting her with an angry look on her face. She reaching him asked, "Where are you going?" Naruto deciding to make a joke said, "I'm going out for a pack of cigarettes, you want anything from the store?" Annabeth scowling said, "It's not funny. You can't leave the safety of the camp. A monster will kill you." Naruto snorting said, "You got it flipped. If and when a monster comes near me I'm gonna be the one doing the killing. Annabeth scowling deeper said, what about Grover? Naruto said Goat Boy has a job protecting Idiot and there's no way I'm helping him do that. Annabeth stomping her right foot down said, you can't leave, the camp might fall under attack and we'll need you. Naruto rolling his eyes said, there's Hiroshin markers all around the camp so if I sense the camp in danger, I can just teleport back here and kick some ass. Annabeth sighing said, I can't stop you from leaving can I? Naruto smiling said nope. Annabeth flipping her hair back said, well fine, but. She then surprised him when she hugged him deeply and said, stay safe and write me sometimes. Naruto laughing hugged her back, while secretly placing a Hiroshin marker on her said, sure Annabeth. He then separating from her walked out of the border with a determined glint in his eyes. Crossing the border he said, it's time to start my journey. First on the list is getting my swords back. I think I'll start with Nabari as I have no bloody idea where the Kraken is imprisoned. Kurama speaking asked so how are you going to get your sword back from Hera? Naruto smiling said easy. I'm going to slay every monster I come across until I attract the attention of the gods. Once I have that I'm going to demand she return my precious Nabari-chan to me. Jubi then said, oh no, you're not mister. When you meet the gods you are going to show them the proper respect. Naruto snorting said, the hell I am. I'm Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, Demon the Hidden Leaf, Devil of the Allied Shinobi Forces, and most boss shinobi to ever walk the face of the earth. Jubi then said in a sickly sweet tone, if you don't show them the proper respect, I'm going to make your arms and legs heavy and make you run with limbs weighing 600 pounds. Naruto said yeah you do that and I'm going to turn you into a rosebush and make Kurama take a dump on you. Jubi then said, you do that and I'll find some way to turn you into a bunny and place you inside a wolf den. Naruto hearing this said, do that and you'll be mating with Shukaku for the rest of my natural born life or course after I kill all of the wolves. Jubi then said, you do that and I'll make sure you never have children. Naruto was about to respond to that when he came across an entire pack of hellhounds all foaming at the mouth. Naruto cracking his knuckles said, put a pin there as I have some dogs to punish. He then rushed forward and like that started slaughtering the hellhounds. A day later and Naruto was laughing as he beat on a cyclops that had decided he looked tasty. All around him more cyclops could be seen, all holding their broken faces or some missing fingers. He then pushing explosive chakra into his hand, punched the cyclops in the face, causing it to explode in a shower of gold dust. He turning to another one spat out a large glob of lava to melt it. He running to another one froze it, then shattered it into pieces. The last two he sliced into tiny pieces with his wind chakra. He laughing walked over to his shirt and put it back on. He yawning walked over to his camp. Packing everything up he started to walk west, ignoring the multiple high-energy signatures following him. He stopping in his tracks turned to the sound of something crying. Entering a forest he blinked spotting a little girl who looked like she had been lost in the woods for days, bawling her eyes out. Walking over to her he squatted down in front of her and asked, what's wrong little one? The girl looking at him with tears in her eyes said, Daddy hurt mommy and then bad men came and took him away. Mommy won't stop bleeding and is getting cold. Naruto hearing this figured that her daddy must have seriously injured her mother and the police must have come and taken him away. Sighing he asked, why are you out here in the forest? The little girl said, I was going to get mommy some herbs like she did for me. Naruto smiling gently stood up and said, take me to your mommy little one. I promise I'll heal her right up. The little girl hearing this popped up instantly and dragged Naruto to a little cottage in the woods. Naruto spotting a blonde-haired fair-skinned woman leaning against the wall of said cottage with a knife shoved into her stomach, shook his head. He walking over to the woman asked, excuse me, can you hear me? The woman whispered, help me. Naruto closing his eyes pushed chakra into his eyes. Opening them again he revealed the Jubigan in all of its glory. Making his hands glow with green chakra, he touched the woman and started to heal her. He removing the knife, healed her stomach also. He then turning his hands blue said forbidden jutsu, time reversal. Naruto yawned as the woman's age started to rewind and the many scars covering her body no doubt from her husband vanished. He then standing up turned around and smiled at the wide-eyed little girl. Patting the little girl on the head he said, your mommy is fine now. Just wait for her to wake up. Now if you'd excuse me I've got to continue my journey. He then walked away never noticing the stars in the little girl's eyes or the smiling face of the woman hiding behind a tree. The woman turning around said, so you're the owner of Nabari-san. Most impressive what you did for that little girl and her mother. She then vanished in a flurry of peacock feathers. Reviewer have a chimp move into your head. And here I will stop and see you all in the next video. Goodbye everyone.